Welcome back to Wise Men Company, everyone. Ben here today, and we're going to take a look at the B&T APC9k, K meaning the very short variant. As you see here, I actually borrowed this from a buddy named Rich. Rich, thank you so much for letting me review this gun. These are really hard to find, and they're not inexpensive, as you guys will see as we get into this review. I just love sub guns. I know that the pistol carbines, the pistol calibers in general are pretty anemic. The range is pretty limited, but I like getting them really nice and small like this, putting them in bags. You can shoot them real fast. 9mm, cheaper to shoot. Just really like them, although they have a very small role in my life. This one, we'll go over some of the add-ons before we get into the actual gun specs, because you guys will ask anyway. Aim point comp on top. We have a mod light with a hot button. This thing is awesome. I did get to run this thing at night. Don't have much footage of that or any footage of that, but running with this hot button and the mod light at night was a ton of fun. These lights are great. And this one actually has a Glock lower as well. On it right now is the B&T lower. You just pop 2 pins, just like an AR-15. The lower comes off and you can stick the Glock lower on. That's a very important feature of this gun. We'll more on that in a little bit. But I do have the B&T lower and the Glock lower. Again, more on that in a little bit. I'm sure a lot of you know that a variant of this gun was adopted by the U.S. Army recently. So B&T picked up a pretty good contract with a variant of their APC9. One of the stipulations in the contract, I believe, was the fact that it had to take Glock mags. Hence why there is a Glock lower receiver for this, and it needed to be somewhat modular. So congratulations, U.S. Army. I think you picked up a good gun. And let's go into the features of it before I tell you my personal opinion. Now, features. Some would call this an MP5 killer right out of the gate because it has features that the MP5 has always lacked. Let's start out with the fire controls. Fully Ambi controls, and I'm talking fully Ambi. Safety, bolt release, mag release, charging handle, which is non-reciprocating, and it kind of is spring-loaded, so when it's not sticking out, it retracts to the side. I love non-reciprocating charging handles. I don't feel like there should be really any reason for a reciprocating charging handle unless it's directly attached to the bolt. This one is non-reciprocating, it's forward of the bolt, and it's a good one. The controls, very easy to get to, but they're extremely stiff. That could just be that this is a fairly new gun. I don't think Rich shot this gun a ton. It looks pretty new, not very scratched up, dinged up. The controls are extremely stiff. Again, not hard to get to. I can get to all of them fairly easily, but they require a lot of pressure to manipulate. To make the mag fall free, to work the safety, to drop the bolt. They're just very, very stiff. Hopefully, over time, those controls break in a little bit and make things a little easier. Trigger on this is not terrible. It's a little mushy. It's definitely better than an MP5 trigger, which isn't great. Stock MP5 triggers aren't that great at all. The B&T TP9, a little brother or another product from B&T that is in the subgun category, has a much worse trigger than this. There's still room for improvement. With all that being said, this trigger is just okay. As we move up forward, we cover the charging handle, and below the charging handle you'll see Picatinny rail. These Picatinny rails at the 3 and 9 o'clock can be removed. It's simply just an M-lock slot underneath there. So if you wanted to mount something directly into the gun and not on top of a pick rail, you could totally do that. You just remove the pick rail from the side of the gun. Flip it underneath to the 6 o'clock position. It has comes with a kind of a sling stud where you could use an H&K hook or a wire or something like that to attach your sling. But more than anything, it kind of works as a hand stop, which I really liked. Keeps you from running that hand too forward onto the can, or worse, in front of the muzzle and then turning your hand into curly fries. Speaking of the muzzle, this does have a tri-lug, classic European style tri-lug. But if you twist this off, you're going to get 1/2 by 28 threads underneath it. So if you want to direct thread it or attach your own muzzle device, you could do that. Finally, the grip down here on the B&T lower. Again, this is the B&T lower. I do have the Glock lower with it. We'll get into that in a second. The grip is modular, so you could take this off and install any AR-15 grip you wanted into this spot right here. That's a good thing because I didn't really like the stock grip that B&T sent with it. It's a little thin, it's a little swept back. I prefer a little thicker, more vertical grip instead of the stock one they have on here. So the good news is you can add in anything you want to this lower. This is a brace on the back here. This is a Tommy built brace, I believe. And the only thing really qualifying this as a brace in my mind is the fact that they put a strap on here. Other than that, it's very much like a, well, it's not like a brace at all. Let's just say that. It is a folder. There are other brace and stock options for the APC9. You get the dual rails that slide in and back and forth with a tail hook. And they have some other options out there from SB Tactical as well. So a lot of options for braces, and if you SBR it, there's some stock options out there as well. But if you're going to use this brace, I don't really think you should or have a need to SBR it. Okay, how did I personally like using it? Again, as I said in the beginning of the video, I really like subguns. I've shot all sorts. I have a Copperhead, Scorpion. I recently did some stuff on the MP5, shot a lot of MP5s, full auto, semi-auto. I like subguns. I really, really do. This one with the B&T lower and its controls made it kind of difficult to use. Everything is very stiff, like I said, and it was kind of a pain to use because mags weren't dropping free. Trying to make the gun do what I wanted it to do just was a little slow and cumbersome. Not what I wanted to see, because I wanted the B&T lower to be, well, what you'd expect for the price tag. MSRP of $2,200, I believe. And I wanted it to be just lights out, awesome, everything that the M&P5 is and more, like we talked about. But it just wasn't. Reloading specifically was a chore. And I let Eric, my buddy, shoot this as well. He's a lefty, full Ambi-controls, get his feedback on it. And we both were just kind of struggling with the B&T lower. The stick mags with this tiny little mag well was just slow and a very frustrating process. So not super pumped about the B&T lower. The Glock lower, on the other hand, and again, that's just 2 pins to push out and take this off, was a whole nother story. The Glock lower was awesome. Mags dropped free. The controls seemed a little bit more easy to use. Didn't need to apply as much pressure. It ran and functioned perfectly fine with the B&T and the Glock lower, so nothing to complain about there. The Glock lower, in my experience, for this gun just worked much, much better. Recoil was a little bit punchy. I kind of just assumed that it would kind of be like an MP5 recoil impulse. It wasn't. The MP5 is still one of the most softest shooting subguns I've ever shot. Shot in full auto, shot in semi-auto. Every time I pick up an MP5 and blast away with one, I am so impressed by the manageable recoil. And again, it's 9mm. It's nothing stout or crazy, but this gun was a little bit punchy. Suppressed, it added a little bit more smoothness to it. I don't have any video of it suppressed, but I did shoot it a good bit suppressed. I used Rich's can on it. He has a can for it. And shooting it suppressed definitely mellowed it out a little bit. Without the can, it just seemed a little bit more stout of recoil. And that could be because it has a polymer lower. It has some weight savings in it. The Copperhead is heavy. MP5 is heavy. Those guns shoot extremely soft. This, you could definitely tell, had a little bit stronger of a recoil impulse. Still can make hits fairly quick and fast. But if we're being honest here, this definitely had a little stronger recoil and pull. All right, guys, final thoughts. No bull here. MSRP is $2,300, $2,200. So you guys are thinking, man, this better be worth it for that kind of price tag on a subgun. And I'm gonna go yes and no on that. Again, the B&T lower just didn't really do it for me. And if we're being honest, if I'm buying this with my own money, I'm not gonna go for the B&T lower because I'm a Glock guy. I'm highly invested in Glock. I carry Glocks. All those mags I can use on a Glock lower. They're plentiful. They're inexpensive compared to the B&T mags. The B&T mags are around 40 bucks a pop, I think, if you can find them. So if I'm spending my own hard-earned money, I'm just gonna go straight to the Glock lower on this, and I think you have a top tier subgun. Well worth the money, in my opinion. Again, I'm highly invested in Glock. Some of you aren't. Some of you are European junkies and you want to be true to the Swiss heritage and run the B&T lower. Cool, nothing wrong with that either. But again, if I'm investing my money, I'm going straight for that Glock lower right out of the gate and not even fooling with the B&T lower. B&T products, any of them, pick any one you want, are known for their quality. They're made in Switzerland. They do some great stuff. They're reliable, they're accurate. This one was no different. I'm just gonna go for that Glock lower. That's pretty much what my plan would be if I was gonna get one of these. Guys, let me know down in the comments what you think. Is this overpriced, overrated? Have you shot one? I wanna talk with you. Hopefully if you're in the market for a B&T, this video has helped. Big shout out to Rich. Thank you for letting me borrow it. I enjoyed reviewing this and shooting it. Can't wait to get it back to you, see what you think of the video. Guys, go to wisemancompany.com. A lot of great gear over there. You can pick up a sling for maybe a subgun. You could pick up a rail wrap. You could pick up a Wise Guy. A lot of great products over there for you guys to actually use on the range or every day. And everything you buy over there directly supports us, and we appreciate the support. Thank you. Guys, hit the like button, subscribe button. We'll see you on the next video.